So leadership, good kind of shifting a little bit. When we started talking about your trajectory to becoming managing partner, I think you spent a lot of your time looking at different opportunities, programs, cohorts, managing partner boot camp to participate in it. Kind of seems like a theme across the organization. You talk about leadership at every level. Did you guys have specific initiatives or ways that you're trying to encourage your people to evaluate, present ideas, and give them the tools to look at what other firms are doing, look what's happening from an industry or professional perspective, and at times out of the profession?
Yeah, great question. So I'd say this is something that's been sort of part of the culture, part of the history of our firm. It's not something that's new. It's something that the leadership of our firm has done for a very, very long time. And obviously, we've sent several folks through you and Gary's program there with leadership, with Managing Partner Boot Camp. We've got several outside consultants that we've used over the years, including, as I mentioned before, Bob Bunting, Gail Crosley. Um, we've had many kind of specialty niche advisors that we've brought in for different things over the years, all the way up and to including associations, right? We've been members of Leading Edge Alliance. We're now members of the BDO Alliance. And so creating the atmosphere around you, getting those outside influences that you can learn from, because we only know what we know, but it's very, very important. It's vital for us to know more. We have to know more about what's going on out there around us. And so again, just continuing to harvest those influences to help guide us on what we want to do. And that's one of the things that I've always been very I was ignorant to as a young staff. I didn't get it, didn't see it. There was no visibility. But the more I've grown inside Adams Brown, the more visibility that I gain of firms around us, firms in our markets, firms in the region. Our leadership has done a very, very good job over the years of making sure that we are ahead of the curve. We are doing things that our peers are not doing in the markets that we operate in. And it's not an accident. It comes by being diligent and paying attention and having those conversations and investing the time and energy into creating peer groups, and then investing in that peer group by having the conversation and bringing those things back and taking action from it. So I think I don't know how you put a dollar number on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of an invaluable thing, because you just don't know what you don't know until you get exposed to those ideas and concepts. And so I think it's been a big piece of who we are as a firm today. It's been a big piece of how we got here. And so we spend quite a bit of time and energy trying to make sure that we're staying plugged in. Again, I always like to say we're trying to watch the people that are smarter than us, people that have been there, people that are ahead of us. We're trying to make sure that we're staying aware of what's working, what's not working, and try not to get left behind.
When you talked about you don't know what you don't know, so managing partner, no tax season under your belt yet. First year, less than first year in. What are some of the things that you kind of picked up on or didn't expect, and now actually, oh yeah, I have to do this, right? Maybe some of those aha moments for you, and what are some of those influencers along the way?
Yeah, so Brian Stats, who was kind of my predecessor, our prior managing partner before
Great guy.
me, amazing. And again, I had a great opportunity as I spent 2 years as vice president. I really got to work very, very closely with Brian, and he was very open, brought me into a lot of the conversations and decisions and discussions. So again, I felt like he did a fantastic job of exposing me to as much as you could, but it still is somewhat surprising, just the volume of things. It's the volume of the conversations that need to be had. It's the volume of the presentations that need to be developed to be delivered to the partner group, to the leadership group, to the firm as a whole. The communication cadence, I would say, is probably the most I don't know, surprising aspect that I probably didn't give enough credit to coming in. Obviously, people management, leadership development, all of those things, they take time, they take energy, they take effort. It's the scale and the volume that I think is probably the most surprising piece of it. Again, along with the communication cadence, it's just the most challenging part. the right message to the right audience at the right time over and over and over and over and over again. And so it's very important. It's vital to us. Again, it leads to all of those things. It leads to our ability to be on one team, to have a common culture, to talk the same and have the same lingo and feel like one team across a very geographically diverse firm. You just have to have a lot of communication. So that I would say is the most surprising thing.
That's a great point, and no doubt, today communication through text, email, Zoom, more challenging and read in so many different ways than it used to be. Talking about difficult conversations over, virtual environments, no easy task. I'm sure you get a chance to get to 14 offices every year.
Uh,
The great states.
it, I tell you what, that people undersell Kansas. It's a beautiful state. The most beautiful sunrises and sunsets you're ever going to find without an ocean. But it's a lot of fun. I do try to make a pretty concerted effort to make sure I get around to see most of the offices. But yeah, it is a challenge. Certainly is. It is. And you mentioned all the means of communication. And that's again, when you talk about communication, it seems like this constant swinging door.
Yeah.
You communicate and you Teams chats and messages and channels and emails, and we've got Zoom and you've got this and you've got that, and you feel like, hey, we're really killing it. We're communicating everywhere you can, and everybody's just like, oh, dude, you gotta leave us alone. Too much communication. There's too many things coming at us. We can't keep up with it all. Just to keep up with the communications coming out, it's a part-time job now. So trying to find that sweet spot of, again, it's the right communication to the right audience at the right time, not any more and not any less, and it's a constant battle.